This episode, and every episode of the Beer Guys radio show, is brought to you by Ironmonger Brewing. Visit Ironmonger at their taproom in Marietta, Georgia, or online at ironmongerbrewing.com.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys radio show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys radio show. We are on the road again this week. We are broadcasting from Athens, Georgia at the Classic City Brew Fest. We're going to talk to a few people this week that Brian's going to tell you about. I'm Tim Dennis, and here's my co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So we're going to talk to Owen Ogletree, in keeping with tradition. He's the organizer of the Classic City Brew Fest. We are also going to talk to Matt Casey and Morgan Wireman from Akademia Brewing. We will also be talking to Paul Skinner and Mark Johnson from Athentic Brewing Company, Tim.
Not authentic, Athentic.
Athentic. It's spelled after Athens, I believe. So we're going to talk to them about what they've got going on. We're going to talk a lot about cask beers. And you know what? It's been a while, Tim, but I have good news for you. There will be beer news.
I'm excited.
And
I'm
it will
excited.
Probably be newsier than ever.
The newsiest news we have ever done.
Very
so
newsy.
For those that are fans of the news segment, look out for extra newsy news.
Yes, very newsy, very newsable.
So, Brian, how's your week been so far?
You know, it's been fairly busy, but at the same time, I look back at everything I've done, and it seems like I don't have a lot to show for it. We did go over to Sweetwater and check out their new tap room facility it's got a restaurant, a full restaurant,
right.
A really nice open seating area, a lot of beers. That place was wonderful. I'm still digesting the concept of the whole place.
As well as all of the food that was consumed there, right?
We had 8 plates or something in front of us. We had to try everything, the mac and cheese and the Brussels sprouts, and of course had to get a bratwurst. And what was the thing you got? Something just...
The sandwich?
Yeah.
I got a Korean barbecue cheesesteak, which I thought sounded super odd, but was interested enough to check it out. It ended up being phenomenal. And they also had shrimp hush puppies, which I expected to be like diced up pieces of shrimp in hush puppies. But what it actually was a shrimp that had been dipped in hush puppy batter. And it was really good.
I'd eat that again right now, actually.
But a big remodel there. So we've talked about it on the show before. Laws changed in Georgia recently. Allows a brewery to be able to have a restaurant. They couldn't do that a couple years. They couldn't sell food. So Sweetwater took their tap room, which was a pretty standard tap room.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good size, but you had the bar there that you walked up to. You got a beer, had a good time. And they took it where the bar is now in the center, big open area. And one side of the tap room just flows right out onto the patio, like big open area. So it's a nice big open spot. Big bar in the center of the restaurant there. It's a really cool spot. They had some bands playing. They had a little battle of the bands going on when we were there.
It's neat how the wall opens up and you can walk out onto that little patio, that little deck area. It's overlooking the stage where the bands play, and I think that stage is actually kind of a permanent fixture. So you can walk up to the bar and you don't get too far away from the band. You can listen to your live music, get your beer, and go back. I had to have, while I was there, the new Hop Kush.
The 420 strain, the Mango Kush IPA, or it's a wheat, Mango Kush wheat, right?
Mango Kush wheat, yes, not Hop Kush, Mango Kush wheat. You are correct. Very, very dank and very mango-y.
I disagree with your assessment, Brian. I agree with the dankness. I didn't get a ton of mango.
You know, the weird thing for me is after the first couple of sips of it every time, I'm overwhelmed with the herbal qualities of the terpenes that are in there. But after that, the mango just pops for me. I get mango, and it's,
I got a nice big dank hit, which I enjoyed. It was good in the beer. But the mango was just kind of whispers of mango for me. And I've seen other people say it was really big mango, like basically mango and weed.
Yeah,
is what a lot of people got out of it. But I got the dankness. I got the weedy dankness character with just a little bit of mango, which was okay. I didn't mind that at all. I still enjoyed the beer. It went well with the food that I had there.
So, Tim, what are we drinking for the beers of the week?
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Woo-hoo! Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
The beers of the week, Brian, as always, we've got a great selection. And this week, an even greater selection than normal because we are at a brew fest. We're at the Classic City Brew Fest. And I've already got into one that I really, really enjoyed was Monday Night Brewing. They did one called Dark Subject Matter Stout. And they had a Dark Dessert Matter Stout.
Dark Dessert Matter.
Which is a riff on their dark matter. And it's phenomenal. It's delicious.
Very good. I looked into the program, and that has Batdorf and Bronson coffee in it, Ghirardelli chocolate, and roasted coconut or toasted coconut.
I'm down. I approve.
I'm also very much a fan of the that Cherry Street Lincoln Fill Station triple chocolate chunk. You got some of that, right?
I did, and that was very good. Super rich and smooth, big chocolate boom. That was really nice. And we're also going to get into some of the beers from the breweries we'll be talking to. Athentic Brewing has a My Naughty Little Pet, which is a cask wee heavy on oak spirals and cocoa nibs, Brian.
Sounds good.
And also Akademia has On the Pole, which is a low-gravity, sessionable English mild ale.
That also sounds good.
So we'll check that out. We'll see what it's about. And then we've got, this is a very cask-heavy festival.
It's exclusively casks, I think.
And that's a new... Well, no, we've got... local breweries do have some draft options over there.
Oh, do they? Okay.
And we've got a special station pouring some bottles, Brian.
That's a good point.
We're going to see stuff... we're going to see some New Glarus.
Ooh.
There's some Trillium over that way that we'll get into. But this is the, I believe, 24th year for the Classic City Brew Fest. And just in the last couple of years, it switched to a primarily cask ale festival. So
I thought I remember that from a few years ago. It used to be a lot more just your standard draft and your standard bottle openings. And when you come to it now, it's cask after cask, lining all the corridors here. It's a lot of great options. And, Owen likes his casks.
Well, it's something unique. You don't see a lot of cask ales, especially in Georgia. And so it's something unique. He does the Atlanta cask ale tasting, which he's done for many years, that features all cask ales. But this is definitely new, especially in Athens. For those who don't know, this is the home of the University of Georgia, UGA, go Dogs. So this is definitely the only festival like it over here, for sure. Yeah, well, Brian, what is happening? What is the newsiest news of the week?
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
Well, Tim, I thought you would never ask. So I think the biggest recent news is the Brewers Association has released their annual growth report for 2018. Small and independent brewers collectively produced 25.9 million barrels in that year, and they realized a 4% total growth, which is down from 5% in the previous year. Craft beer's overall market share by volume has increased to 13.2%. The retail dollar value was estimated at $27.6 billion, which represents a 24.1 market share and a 7% growth since 2017. So
that was very newsy news. There were a lot of statistics in there.
Intensely newsy, that news.
And whoever is reporting on that news, the journalists are each taking their own spin on whether they consider this a positive or negative thing for the craft beer industry. But we're still seeing growth. Yes, it slowed. There was a little bit, and I haven't looked into the numbers, so I'm not going to say a lot of this, but the Brewers Association did redefine craft brewer.
They did.
And It includes some, I believe they call them alternative beverages, such as the hard seltzers and that are included in those sales numbers from Sam Adams. But I do not know what impact having those numbers in there means.
Now, I'm going to correct you on that. They include breweries that make that. As long as you produce a beer, a craft beer, if you produce a majority of non-craft beers like sparkling hard seltzers and ciders and whatnot, you're still included in their statistics. But I think the actual statistics themselves are based on the beer sales themselves.
On the beer. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So there's that, and based on the little bit of analysis that the Brewers Association followed up with, it seems like all of the growth is at a very localized level. Like the big regional stuff is not growing so much. The small breweries are where you're seeing a lot of the growth. That's what's pushing that number
totally
up.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing here. You see more the neighborhood kind of brewery. You're not seeing a lot of places opening up that are looking for world domination or even regional domination. As a matter of fact, in my new Georgia Breweries post from last year, there was one coming that was intending to be a big regional brewery, and I believe they may be done for. I have not heard any updates on that.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with more from Classic City Brew Fest. Brian and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Brian. They've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, that's where it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks, so you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth.
Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia. Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery. Set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you miss an episode, don't worry. All episodes are available as a podcast. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and never miss a show. We're talking to Matt Casey and Morgan Wireman from Akademia Brewing.
Guys, thanks for joining us again. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us on.
Thanks for having us.
We talked to you at last year's Classic City Brew Fest, and it's lively here, but last year we had a big challenge of a band that was having a little bit of feedback issues, if you recall.
I remember that, yeah.
We toughed it through it. We survived that, but it was a tough one. But something I think we definitely need to cover about you guys is your glass holders here at the festival. So what are you rocking today?
I think Morgan and I are sporting the big pink flamingo koozies, pool floaty koozies, I guess you can call them.
That looks handy in so many ways. And Morgan, you were telling me, or Matt, that if you drop your glass at the fest, it helps to keep from breaking.
Exactly.
If you want to float around in the pool on the weekend, you can float your beer right there next to you.
We may or may not have a belly flop contest at some point at the pool here, and these could come in handy then.
Is there a pool here that I missed? Because I have not seen it. I'm sure there's room for it, but I haven't seen it.
I think there's a drainage ditch next to the place.
I have seen that. I don't think I could float in that. I'll be honest with you.
Give it a shot, right?
An after party could be arranged if we need.
There we go. See, we've got it figured out.
Nice.
But guys, it's been a year since we talked to you. Been some big changes. Matt, you and I have chatted a few times kind of about the things you got going on. I know you're in cans now, out and about in cans, right? I don't think those were quite released last year.
Correct. We didn't do canning until the end of last year. We did a couple of canning runs. We did one canning run last year, and we've done about 4 this year. And we're on pace now to do them every 2 weeks.
Okay. Do you do rotating cans, or you have like core products in there? What's the can plan?
So our goal is to come out pretty strong with 2 core brands that we have, the IQ IPA and our Skål Norwegian Wheat Ale, which has a really nice citrusy finish from the Kvike yeast we're using. And every time we do a can run, we'll also do 1 or 2 one-offs.
Okay. It's the 2-off. The
2-offs if we're doing 2.
1-off, 2-offs.
2 one-offs.
2 one-offs. You know, it's interesting to see because you talk about core beers and that, and it's so interesting to see that breweries really need to have the core beer. There is a train of thought that the core beer is no more. But I think a brewery that mixes a couple of core beers with a constantly rotating selection, that seems to be kind of the recipe for success, right?
Well, I'm not sure. I think there's several different recipes for success in today's industry. You know, we're a little bit of a hybrid from a production brewery to a brew pub. We've got an 18,000 square foot facility with a pretty large kitchen, a 2,000 square foot kitchen, and a pretty sizable tasting room, dining area. So we run the full gamut. We have beer, wine, liquor. We put third-party guest taps on from time to time. We did a tap takeover with the Southern Brewing Company last week. So for our model, we definitely need to move a certain amount of core liquid to try to help maintain the cash flow. And that'll give us the ability and the flexibility to do a lot more one-offs and
the new stuff, right?
The new stuff, correct, yeah. And I think today's market consumer, they're definitely looking for a lot of new, innovative changes from breweries, and we definitely plan to keep doing that. We did quite a bit of that last year. And I think this year we're on track to do 19 new different IPAs.
Okay, good stuff. Now, you mentioned that you're kind of a hybrid facility, production brewery, brew pub, technically a brew pub, right?
Yeah, we're classified as a brew pub, but we have we basically sized the facility, and we have it set to where we can drop about 13 more tanks in there as we grow to match the production capacity.
And you just did some big remodeling at your brew pub, correct?
Correct. We basically decided to change it up a little bit. We added a little kind of chill, relaxed lounge area up in the front of the brew pub, and we hung an old 1970s era sign I got from my grandfather's hotel, and we're calling it the Casey's Magic Rest Lounge. And so we got about 10 comfortable little sofas you can hang out and spend some time just relaxing. We also have our outdoor bar area that we're launching over the next week or so, and we've got seating for about 80 to 100 people outside, so we'll have a decent outdoor space. A good portion of it's covered. And then we also have about a 4,000 square foot event space next door that we've started launching some events we've been doing over there.
Brian, the lounge sounds like a place you might like to kick back and have a cigar, right?
It does sound like that. I'm curious if a permanent fixture of this lounge area is the dunk tank I keep seeing on Facebook. Is that something that we can expect to see there on a regular basis?
I hope not. That dunk tank came about as a kind of overnight thing, and I ended up getting a lot of carbonation levels that in areas I didn't expect to get it in before. You know? But yeah, the dunk tank was fun, and we definitely had a good team building event. We raised a little bit of money for a Nutri space over here in Athens, and we definitely want to do more of those, and anything we can do to put ourselves out there to help raise awareness about different topics in the community, and help raise awareness about academia in general to bring people back to the brew pub.
You know, earlier you said you were talking about a collaboration you did. You did another collaboration with a was it a local band or Beast Mode?
Yeah,
Is that
Beast
right?
Mode. It's a local metal band.
Yeah. What's that? What inspired that, and what beer did you wind up coming up with for that?
Me personally, I'm a huge metal fan. So
okay.
I've been wanting to do collaborations with metal breweries for quite a while, and we finally convinced this guy to let us do one. We figured it'd be a great event to have for our Classic City Beer Week. And so we ended up doing a blackened lager.
A blackened lager?
Yep. Yeah, not just a black lager, it's a blackened lager.
So, yeah, how does that differ from a black lager? Did you have to do something very devious to it after the fact, or?
Maybe not.
Okay.
No, it's a good easy drinking American lager that I added some nice dark roasted cold steeped malts to give it the nice flavor and not impact the flavor too much. It's nice and easy drinking. Get some good light roast and chocolate notes from the roasted malt that I added. Okay. It's a really nice and crushable beer.
Will the blackened lager pair with like some blackened chicken or something? Would it pair up with that?
Definitely.
Okay, you talk metal. Mastodon, I know, does collaboration beers and that, so they sound like one you need to get over to Athens, right?
We'll have to see if we can get in touch with them about that.
Make it happen.
Right? I will do my best.
Yeah. So Morgan, what else is brewing, man? Let's talk more about the beer there. What's new, exciting? What's coming?
So one of the newest beers we have, one of my favorites right now, it's a beer called A Wolf and Grungeist. It's an India Pale Lager that we did with Styrian Wolf and Grungeist hops. And that beer is another extremely crushable beer. It's just nice and light on the bitterness, a lot of hop flavor. To me, personally, it tastes like mango and peach ice cream. It's so good.
Interesting.
That's one of my favorites. And the name is actually wordplay on a Metallica song, another metal band, called A Wolf and Man. The label design is kind of designed after their Black album, which the song came on.
So what were those hops again you mentioned?
Styrian Wolf and Grungeist.
I've never heard it. Where are they from?
So we got them from a place called Hophead Farms.
Okay. And
honestly, I've never heard of them until recently, but they've got some insane hops at that place.
Okay, so they're proprietary hops then?
I think so, yeah.
Grungeist sounds like a German hop.
Yeah.
Is Green Ghost? Is that what it is?
Yes, yeah, the Green Ghost, yeah, that's what, yeah, that's the same one, yeah.
Yeah. So, the Wolf and the Green Ghost, Brian. It's hard to keep up with all the hops
Seriously.
that are coming up out there. There's just so many varieties, and I found some that I've really enjoyed lately. I actually found out one that I thought was new is an old hop that had fell out of favor, Cashmere.
Oh, Cashmere.
I really love
Okay.
Cashmere, and I thought it was brand new, but apparently, it's not.
We've talked a lot about Sabro hops, and there is a beer here at the festival that I've been meaning to get that has Sabro in it. I think it's actually a Belgian triple with Sabro hops in it, so I'm intrigued by that. But that's another one of those. That's a proprietary hop too, isn't it?
I don't know. I
never can tell with these.
We actually have our Is It Gone IPA over here that's got some Nelson dry hops in it. That's pretty interesting hop.
That's a mix of Cryo Simcoe and the Whirlpool, and then we had the Nelson and the dry hopping.
Good stuff. Guys, thanks for joining us. If you're in Athens, Georgia, head by Akademia Brewing. Check them out. Grab a bite to eat. Have a beer. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
As a brewery owner or taproom manager, are you looking for ways to enhance your customer experience while maximizing your revenues? Craft Cellar is a mobile solution that helps your brewery drive sales and attract new customers through online pre-sales for beer releases, events, and memberships. Get details now at craftcellar.com. Mention Beer Guys Radio after sign-up and extend your free trial to a full 30 days. Remember, craftcellar.com, craftcellr.com.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger Brewing pride themselves at being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy, and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room in Marietta, Georgia to taste and see. Also visit their barrel room for an intimate drinking experience with great live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You passed out cigarettes for a smoke-a-thon on Earth Day. You installed speed bumps on the handicapped ramps. And most recently, you dumped 100 pounds of meat on a peaceful vegan protest.
Oh, come on. That was way more than 100 pounds.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a shout-out to our newest radio affiliate, WVMT, 96.3 FM and 620 AM in Burlington, Vermont. Catch Beer Guys Radio on WVMT every Saturday at 1 a.m. Eastern. So we are talking now with Paul Skinner and Mark Johnson of Athentic Brewing.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Great to be here.
I just want to interject quickly on what Brian said. I love getting on any news station, but boy, it's cool to be on in Burlington.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what a place for craft beer. So we'll have to get up there soon. Already been chatting with them. We're going to get on their morning show to make sure people know about it. But welcome, Burlington. We're very happy to be part of your radio lineup.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. Guys, Athentic Brewing Company. You're in the process of building out your brewery. And so how's that going? You're fairly on the early stages of that, correct?
Yeah, we've been working for years towards this, and we're now in the final stages. Couldn't be more excited. Construction is about to begin here in the next few weeks, and equipment is ready to install. Literally ready to install, so we're ready to go.
See, I say early stages, but if you've been doing all that behind the scenes, then the actual construction is the late stage of the process, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. You never know which is going to go first or second or third, but for us, we got our federal license already. We've got our contractors lined up. We're just waiting for the space to be renovated to accept our equipment, and we're ready to go.
I think I saw on social media that you have some hard dates set for various events that are going to happen after you open, correct? Like you're really got it nailed in terms of time at this point.
Well, we're focusing on dates right now because that helps us stay focused, because August 24th is the date we're really going for as far as our big opening. And working from that date, we can really focus our efforts entirely around that.
Is there significance to August 24th, or is it just let's set this date so we have a goal?
I think the significance of is that it's the first open date before Bulldog football season starts.
That's a good call, man. That is, for an Athens brewery, that is a really smart call.
Well, the fall is all about Athens and Georgia, so we're excited to be a part of that. Yeah.
What should people expect from Authentic Brewing when it's open? What are they going to experience once they're there?
Well, our big, we're going to be part of Normaltown in Athens, so we're just going to be part of that community. I think that's the first thing we want people to know is just how excited we are to be part of that. As far as coming in and experiencing the brewery itself, we'll have, it'll feel similar in some ways, but we're going to have a self-serve beer wall. I think that's the main thing we want people to know about, and we're promoting that pretty heavy right now.
Okay, see, I was not aware of that. I didn't know you guys were going self-serve, and I wouldn't say it's popular, but I'm seeing very few more that are going that way there.
So in this case, we'll let people take the ownership of their own pours, let them decide how much, and let them be part of the process. We think it's gonna be wonderful. People are gonna love it.
Okay, now, why did you decide to go I don't know if I've ever asked a brewery that. Why self-pour?
Well, there's no one reason why. For one reason, I guess, it's just using technology to our advantage. So with self-pour, you're going to have the ability for us to connect with the customer through their account, through the ability to push information to them and notify them about events and things that are coming up. That's with a permanent beer card. Guests are welcome with a guest card as well. Everything will work. It's just a matter of us connecting with the customers. The folks that are typically behind the bar, the bartenders, in our case, will become beer ambassadors. And that's a kind of a new concept, but these people will be more flexible to move around the brewery a little more, connect with everybody.
It sounds like a very honorable position to be a beer ambassador.
I know.
That's a good place to be. Right?
Do you get flags on your car when you drive around? That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, you should definitely be. It should be a significant thing for people that are beer ambassadors.
So in the self-pour scenario, you're basically letting people choose how much the beer they want by the ounce. Is that right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's paid for by the ounce. When you go up, decide what beer you want. We'll have some monitors above the beer wall, so you'll be able to see which beer is pouring where. You can go up and you can pour as little or as much as you want. We'll have pint glasses. And yes, it's dispensed and you charge by the ounce. So if you have a guest card, you'll see your balance go up. If you have a permanent card that has a balance on it, you'll see your balance go down as you pour. But I think what it allows is, instead of us pouring a flight of beers for everybody, you can individually choose which one you want, and you can go up and you can choose all of them, and you can do 2 ounces for each one. Same.
Yep. And I think the other part of that that's pretty exciting is just that you can kind of get away from having to stand in line, and you can enjoy your friends and the people that you're with. So one of the things we noticed at breweries as we visited other places was that people were standing in line way too much.
Now, a question. Let's say I go and I decide I like a beer, and I just want to drink a lot of that. Can I just stand right there at the tap and open it up and just drink right out of the tap?
Okay, Tim, for you, yeah, there'll be a tap.
Okay, good,
for
good.
You,
I like this, yes. Okay, otherwise, yes. I love special treatment. Love it.
Yeah, so it'll be different. It'll take a little bit of getting used to. That's why we have the beer ambassadors. But once people are in tune with it, I think it's going to go over really well.
Good stuff, man. Well, let's talk about your beer some. So I've tried your Naughty Little Pet. So first I want to know about that name, and then tell us about the beer, please.
So you want to know about the name first, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Naughty Little Pet is a wee heavy Scottish ale, brewed in such a way that it is really easy to drink, but it's at 9.5%, and that's the naughty side of it. So you have to be a little careful drinking it, just because it's a little bit of a higher alcohol beer. But easy to put down, and everyone seems to be liking it. And today we had 2 versions of it.
Okay, now so where's the little pet part come from?
Well, today is we're at the Classic City Brew Fest, and as you know, all proceeds here are going to the Athens Humane Society. So Naughty Little Pet is a name that we chose as one that just fit into the whole vibe here today.
I like that it sounds like a really, really dirty name, but it's actually pretty innocent there, right?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of both. You got to watch out for it. It's the naughty pet in your life. You know that pet.
Indeed. So I know this can't be a mistake. I noticed when I went over to grab my little pour of Naughty Little Pet, you're giving away guitar picks, and I think that figures into your logo. What's the significance of the guitar pick in the Athentic Brewing Company's logo?
Well, the guitar pick is just a nod to the Athens music scene. Just the amount of great bands and great music that has been that's come out of Athens area and the Athens specifically, and so this was our kind of a nod towards that. And we're gonna have a lot of live music at the brewery, and going to be a really big supporter of that music scene as well.
And for those not familiar with the Athens music scene, REM, B-52s, big one, and I think the REM album Automatic for the People, it was a slogan from a restaurant, is that right?
That's the soul food restaurant.
Yeah. So a lot of music history. Who else is from Athens?
Drive-by truckers.
Oh yes, right, yeah.
So just being part of that is going to be a way to celebrate Athens. We look forward to that. Looking forward to just supporting Normaltown, Athens in general, and all the artists in the area.
Good stuff. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. August 24th, we're going to watch that date for you. Athentic Brewing. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we'll be back right after this.
As a brewery owner or taproom manager, are you looking for ways to enhance your customer experience while maximizing your revenues? Craft Cellar is a mobile solution that helps your brewery drive sales and attract new customers through online pre-sales for beer releases, events, and memberships. Get details now at craftcellar.com. Mention Beer Guys Radio after sign-up and extend your free trial to a full 30 days. Remember, craftcellar.com, craftcellr.com.
Brian and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Brian. They've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, that's where it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks, so you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth.
Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Well, I'm sure I'd feel much worse if I weren't under such heavy sedation.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons can get some cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. And now let's talk to the man who makes Classic City Brew Fest possible, Owen Ogletree.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're very good, Owen. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for having us back here. I think this is our third or fourth Classic City Brew Fest.
I believe so, yeah.
Our second. We were talking about last year with the band had a little feedback issue.
Oh,
that was fun. It was fun. It was fun to deal with that, but looks like a good success this year. Nice, lively festival.
Yeah, very nice. Good crowd.
Yeah, now a little bit of a change. I think, is this the second year that it's been primarily casks?
Yes, second year here at the Cotton Press and second year being primarily cask ales.
And this is the 24th?
Number 24, yeah.
So 22 years, it was more like regular beer, for lack of a better term. The last couple years, you switched to cask. Why the change in format?
Well, when we had the whole facility over at Graduate Foundry, which is a wonderful place, we love those guys, but it was all spread out, and we had tons and tons of bottles and cans. But we also had a cask ale tent in the middle of the Graduate Hotel in the wedding pavilion, and we called it the Cask Pavilion. And it was so popular. People would go in there and say, I haven't been anywhere else, and I'm not going anywhere else. I just love it here. And we were trying to sell 1,000 tickets there, and it was Sunday of the last day of Athens Beer Week, and it was just so hard to sell 1,000 tickets. We never did it. So we decided to move over here to the Cotton Press and help our friends out who have opened this new facility and focus on the cask ales and expand it. And I think it's gone over very well. And we only have to sell 500 tickets, and it's great.
That's 1,000. That's a lot of attendees. That's a big festival,
especially these days when there's a beer festival every other.
We were just talking. This is our fourth in a month.
Yeah.
And we have another festival coming up soon with Sweetwater's 420 Fest.
Right. Yeah.
And then we're heading down to Florida. So like in less than 2 months, we'll be doing 6 beer festivals.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's the way it goes, right? Absolutely.
And I think your instinct to move to an all cask thing is correct, because honestly, all the beer at all the other Classic City Brew Fests I've been to, all the beer I really wanted to try was always in that cask session.
Sure,
all of it,
yeah.
The double Cocoa Bunny, back before that was a thing that was in cans. So like, you went to the cask area to get that. It was always the most innovative and interesting beers there. It was wonderful. And I mean, seriously, all of that is now in a format where everybody can actually get to it. Because before, when you walked in, it was so packed with people. Now you can walk around and actually get the beer.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and we'd have 20 casks, and now we have 55.
Yeah, good.
It allows, American brewers are all about creativity, and this cask format allows for creativity. They can put in oak chips, dry hops, vanilla, chocolate, fruit, whatever they want to make the beer special.
Glitter.
And we even have a glitter beer here today, yeah.
Purple glitter beer.
Yeah.
I had that beer, Tim.
I know.
had to have
How
that beer.
was it? Did you enjoy it?
It wasn't bad.
You do look a little more sparkly than you did when you came in here.
I feel festive. It was purple and glittery,
absolutely.
so I do feel festive.
It has a purple herb, which is very good for you. It's an anti-inflammatory and it's very tasty. It's a flower, and I thought it was very nice.
I had a glitter beer over when we did our Savannah trip at Moon River, right? And I think it was a pale ale, if I remember correctly. But it just had a little shimmer to it, and I think the glitter, it did not add to or take away from the beer necessarily. It was kind of a neat novelty, but the beer itself was just a good standard, pale ale. So it was nice.
That glittery mouthfeel. So I won't get into the scientific term because it's a little X-rated, but the actual compound that's in the beer here that's glittery is butterfly pea flower. That's the common name of it.
Right.
And apparently it's a very erotic-looking flower, is my understanding.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
It looks very much like a part of the female anatomy, which is where it gets its genus and species name.
So I'll have to Google it. I'll Google it. I'll just Bing it off the air. So Owen, Athens, Georgia is, as we've mentioned earlier in the show, the home of the University of Georgia, college town here. I think Athens is probably... it's a fairly safe bet. Atlanta and then Athens as far as beer towns in Georgia.
Right, and then Savannah after that.
Right, Savannah there. What do you see as the differences between Atlanta and Athens? Are they different markets when it comes to doing a festival and such?
I really think so. Atlanta is very trendy, and they're looking for what's hot and what's new, and they love craft beer in Atlanta, and there are tons of people in Atlanta who are very familiar with craft beer and knowledgeable, and they're very willing to pay $65 for a ticket to a beer festival, whereas in Athens, there are lots more people who love craft beer, but they're learning, and they're on a budget. So
hard to get a college kid to drop $65, right?
Yeah. So I try to keep these tickets low and affordable. But if you look around, you see that there are a few college kids who are 21 and above, but there are a lot of also people who are in their 40s and 50s, which which I like seeing.
I think one thing I like about this fest is there's at least 2 furries here today, Owen.
There are, yes.
I've seen them walking around.
What?
Furries?
Oh, right, yeah.
The people in the animal costumes. So
yeah, from the Humane Society.
Yeah, that's what they're telling everybody anyhow, is that it's Humane Society.
They have to be really, really hot in there.
That does have to be extremely hot. I have seen the one guy behead himself a couple times, though, so it's working out. But no, just a great festival, good event for a good cause there. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about your beer adventures, which we always enjoy talking about you with. Okay. And you mentioned to us earlier that you have a new country on the roster. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. We just did Spain, northern Spain, which everyone loved. They tried to kill us with food and good beer.
There's worse ways to die, right?
That is the way I want to go, yes.
The food was great. We've done Italy, which is it's an up-and-coming beer scene, which is fantastic. But I'm heading out to Estonia soon, which was it's kind of a Scandinavian country, but it's also kind of Eastern European. So it's very Scandinavian, but the prices are also very affordable. And there are 100 new breweries there, which I hear they're making fantastic beer.
Okay, see, I knew the one Estonian brewery I'd been exposed to is it Pohjola? Yeah. But they were over at Shelton Fest here a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And just fantastic beers. Now, it's a Baltic Sea country, so of course the Baltic porters. They did a lot of variants of the Baltic porters that were phenomenal.
Same as in Poland. I judged the Polish beer championships, and the Baltic porters were the best beers there. Hands
those
down.
are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that if there was much more in Estonia.
Is that the new up-and-coming beer scene? Because, it seems like the beer scene is it moving kind of east in Europe at this point in time?
Eastern Europe is the up-and-coming beer scene.
Okay.
It's taking off all through the Lithuania and the Baltic countries and Poland.
I had no idea. So we have a good question for you here, Owen. Ties back into one of our news stories, Brian. You probably heard Stone Brewing just sold their Berlin brewery to Brewdog. And one of the things that Greg Cook mentioned is that Berlin, it just sounded like they were kind of rooted in tradition, and that wasn't going to change. What are your thoughts on the German beer scene there? Feel free to kick them all around too, Owen. So.
Well, I love going to Germany because I love the Dunkel and the Helles and the Box and the wheat beer. And, you're there for a week, and these beers are some of the best beers in the world. But I can kind of see how if you're a craft beer fan and you lived in Germany, after a while you would want some IPAs and you would want some sour beers and so forth. And they just don't have that yet. They're on the cusp of that. And when I went out there to do an interview, I loved it. It was fantastic. But the place was pretty empty because everyone wants Helles and Dunkel and wheat beer, and that's what they're accustomed to. So,
and there's nothing wrong if you enjoy your classic German-style traditional beers. If that's what they want to drink, then power to them. You can't force someone to change, what they enjoy. So, well, Owen, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. Classic City Brew Fest. If you want to hang out with Owen and see the great beer place of the world, brewtopia.info. Go there. You can find info on all the awesome beer events. Owen, thanks again for having us. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Coming up next week, we're leaving the Beer Fest life. We're back in the studio. We're going to be talking with 903 Brewers out of Sherman, Texas. For more craft beer info, follow us online. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers.
The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com.